Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Cam. This is Guy in His Garage. Today we're going to get back into the 8N. In the last video we did the basic teardown. Today we're going to start putting it back together. There's a box sitting right here full of all kinds of goodies for the tractor. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into this box. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get this thing cut open. Pretty solid job on the packaging on this thing. It's a lot of parts in here, guys, so we're just going to take our time going through and making sure that we get everything out. So this is the carburetor rebuild kit that we ordered. Oh, hey. Not the second one. This is some hardware. I believe that's for the alternator. Grounding strap, main lead for the positive terminals. Our new belt. That's a thick boy. All of our brackets for the alternator. And this seems really small, but ooh, we need that. This is actually our main wiring harness, guys. All right. Got set there. Our new ignition switch. Voltmeter. Our new solenoid. That's our new sediment bowl for the fuel tank. This should be our coil. And this should be a brand new alternator. What'd I do with it? Put it right here. Policeman driving by. Look at that. Missed on that too. Alright guys, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by getting our alternator and our coil put into the tractor, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, we're running into an issue here. So this is the old bracket, this is the new one. There's this slot in here for the bolt that mounts it up here to this tab. That helps with your adjustability to put tension on your belt for your alternator. Unfortunately, the hardware provided, the bolt that appears to go through this slot is too small for this pre-welded nut that's on this tab. The right size bolt, which is the old one, see here, goes in nice and easy, moves all around. It doesn't fit in there. Unfortunately, this isn't the first issue I've run into so far with the hardware, the brackets specifically. On this one, I'll put a picture up right now. This tab is about 1/8 of an inch too far up. These two tabs are supposed to be able to sit within this bracket that comes off the engine, and because this is 1/8 too far out, it doesn't bolt up. So luckily our old brackets are still in good condition. I've just taken a wire wheel and I'm wire wheeling them all off and just putting them back on. Okay guys, we got the old bracket all cleaned up and the bolt, so now we'll go ahead and get it back on the tractor and keep going. Okay guys, so we've got the alternator hooked up now. I ended up reusing all of the old brackets that were on the tractor before. Again, I wire wheeled them all up, made them look good, got it on there. Got a decent amount of tension on our alternator here. Tighten up all our bolts. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll get our coil put in. Just goes into this little sleeve right here, drops down. There's a small little nut back there and a screw. Okay guys, you don't need to go cranking down on this thing. You just want to get it where it's holding tight. You're going to get a flex joint here. Hey guys, you don't need to go cranking down on this thing super hard. You just want to make sure that it's tight enough that it holds it in place. Got our center wire hooked up. Well, I guess we should have checked that. For whatever reason, we have our cap. I thought maybe it was stuck up in there, but our rotor piece that sits right on this dowel is gone. So we'll continue putting the rest of the wiring system back together, and I will have to order one of those to see if I can find one locally. That's disappointing. Okay guys, so we got our wiring harness kind of laid in here. We already have it hooked up to our alternator, it's just a single wire, up to our coil. There is some more research I got to do on our coil. There's another wire that goes down to the distributor, but I can't seem to find where on the distributor that wire goes. That was part of the issue when I removed the old wiring harness. That wire was missing. So I'll do some more research into that and see if we need to order anything else for that. Otherwise, our wire just kind of runs along the top. I snaked it in behind this bracket so it looks a little bit cleaner. Comes up, comes in between the dashboard and steering column. Okay, we got our ignition switch put in, and we've also got our amp meters put in. So part of that is this bracket. Just goes on the back here. For our ignition switch, it goes on our left side post. That goes on there. And then one of the two main red lines goes on the left and one goes on the right. Now we're going to use a multimeter to check the current to see which one of these red wires from either our alternator or from our battery goes to the left and which one goes to the right, and make sure that we have it wired right. So let me just go grab that real quick and we'll jump right back in. Okay guys, we got our multimeter. We got it set to ohms with the sound. So now what we should be able to do is put our negative to this wire, and when it creates a current, you'll hear the beep, which tells me that this wire is the wire that's connected to our alternator, which means this wire is the one that's connected to our battery. So now we just got to make sure that we hook those up correctly to the meter. Okay guys, unfortunately I was wrong about our distributor. We're not just missing our cap button. I took a better look at it and we're actually missing all of our points. There should be a ground terminal that comes out of it that our wire off of our coil connects to, and it's also gone. There's also a lot of moisture in here. The shaft itself looks like the bearings are starting to go out. It's got a decent amount of play in it. So I decided to go ahead and locate a new one. There's a super old school tractor shop not too far from me, and luckily they were able to source the last one from one of their distributors that they use and got it on order and got expedited shipping, because in about 9 days I'm moving. So hopefully it'll get here on Tuesday like their distributor said, and if so, we'll get it thrown in, try to get the timing right. Everything else will be done on this tractor. I might even try to put it back together. We'll see how difficult it'll be to get the distributor in with the hood back on it before I bolt it on. But the radiator is supposed to be here today at some point. So again, we'll get everything else put back together on this machine and we'll just go from there. So before I left, I went ahead and I finished wiring up our meter. So our meter's in, wired up, and one of our 2 wires for our ignition switch is wired up. So now we'll go back to our ignition switch and finish wiring that up. So to do that, we have to install our new terminal block. Which is located pretty much right underneath our meter. It's got 2 screws in it. Probably take a wire wheel to these little screws just to make sure. Well, we dropped one of the screws, but luckily it fell on the floor. That's always a good thing. So we'll get these wire wheeled up real quick. Take our vice grips. Clamp it in there. That's one. That's 2. So now we'll take these, our screwdriver, new block, probably should have done this before our meter, but that's all right. Again, guys, you don't need to go cranking down on these, okay? They're small screws going into pre-tapped holes, holding a piece of plastic to the frame. So just hand tight is all you need. Okay, so now that that's on, what we'll do is we take our black wire here, and it goes to this bottom terminal. Okay, and then our white wire here also goes to that terminal. Okay, this orange wire, I gotta get a switch, but this is for our lights. This would go on to our light switch. The last thing we gotta do is gotta run this wire down through this little notch in the dashboard panel here, and somehow our little rubber grommet for our starter button came off, and I think I know when. Probably when we were pressure washing it, because we didn't pay attention to it. So I'm gonna go look for that real quick. Okay guys, for whatever reason, I can't find it. I didn't think about it when we went to pressure wash it. I should have taken it off. So for now, we'll just cover this terminal up with a little bit of electrical tape so nobody gets zapped. This is just held on there by a single screw. Just to help clean it up a little bit, I am just going to zip tie these wires up to here so that our wires aren't just sticking out all over the place and everything looks a little bit cleaner. We got some zip ties now, so we'll go ahead and zip tie this stuff up, just make it look a little nicer. Alright guys, so for right now, that's all we can do. We're now waiting on our new distributor and our radiator and our hoses for it. Plus I gotta go pick up the battery. When I pick up the battery, I'm also probably gonna pick up some new spark plugs for it, just so that they're nice and fresh. And we'll pick up hopefully in a couple days. See you guys then.